Welcome to Southwest Desert, where adventure meets the arid beauty of the American Southwest. Join us as we explore the rugged landscapes, uncover hidden historical gems, and dive deep into the rich legends and culture of this iconic region. Subscribe now and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on our latest desert adventures. Please leave a like or comment. This is very helpful. Let's journey together into the heart of the Southwest Desert. Deep in the heart of the American Southwest, amidst the sacred mesas and canyons of the Navajo Nation, there exists a story that sends shivers down the spines of those who hear it, a tale that stands as the most thoroughly documented case of a Chindi's revenge in Navajo history. This is the story of the Long Salt family and the supernatural vengeance that would pursue them relentlessly for 100 years, claiming lives across generations in a tragic demonstration of spiritual retribution. The year was 1825, and the American Southwest remained largely untouched by European settlement. The Long Salt family held a position of prominence within their community, numbering over 100 members who lived their traditional way of life on ancestral lands. They maintained valuable herds of sheep, practiced their ancient customs, and lived in relative peace with their neighbors. But for one member of this family, 1825 would mark the beginning of a nightmare that would eventually consume not just him, but generations of his bloodline. It began, as many supernatural tales do, with dreams. But these were no ordinary nightmares that plagued the sleep of one particular Long Salt warrior. These were visitations, terrifying encounters with the spirit of a man named Dawn Dancer, a longtime enemy whom the warrior had killed in combat years before. While the killing itself had been justified by their community standards after a great fight between the two men, there was one crucial detail that would prove fateful. The Long Salt warrior had killed Dawn Dancer before he could complete his death song, a sacred part of the dying process in Navajo tradition. The consequences of this spiritual transgression soon became apparent. Night after night, Dawn Dancer's spirit would come to the warrior in his dreams, attempting to smother his spirit. This wasn't merely a frightening experience. It began to manifest in the physical world. The once strong warrior grew weaker with each passing day, his vitality draining away as surely as water seeps into desert sand. In his desperation, he turned to his brother, his voice weak and trembling as he pleaded for help. "It is Dawn Dancer," he confessed. "His spirit comes to me when I sleep, and he tries to smother my spirit. You must find a medicine priest to rid me of Dawn Dancer's spirit, or I shall die." Thank you for joining your desert frontiersman Alan for another Southwest adventure. If you would like to support my time and channel, hit the Super Thanks heart icon on the bottom of the video and contribute. This is very helpful. Relax and enjoy. His brother initially protested, reminding him that Dawn Dancer was dead and that the killing had been justified. But the afflicted man's deteriorating condition could not be denied. The family knew they needed powerful medicine to counter this supernatural assault. They sought help from a particular medicine man, a blind practitioner from the Tsegi country, known throughout the region for his powerful healing abilities and deep spiritual knowledge. The medicine man agreed to help, proposing a 3-day ceremonial healing known as a Bijin or Sing. These ceremonies were complex affairs, requiring precise ritual observations and proper payment to ensure their effectiveness. The medicine man's price seemed straightforward enough: 5 butchered sheep from the Long Salt family's flock. This was no small request, as the family's sheep were valuable possessions, but given the warrior's condition, they readily agreed. It was here that fate took its dark and decisive turn. 2 members of the Long Salt family were assigned the task of slaughtering the sheep for payment. As they discussed their assignment, they made a decision that would haunt their family for generations to come. The family's sheep were grazing at some distance from the village, and these two men, perhaps out of laziness or misguided thrift, chose to substitute 5 wild antelope for the requested sheep. Their reasoning seemed sound enough to their short-sighted minds. The medicine man was blind, after all. How would he ever know the difference? To ensure their deception would go undetected, they took extra precautions, removing the heads and lower legs at the knees to make the substitution harder to detect. Even the rest of the family, including the elders who presented the payment, remained unaware of this fateful switch. They delivered the meat with all the ceremony and respect due to a medicine man of his stature. The 3-day ceremony proceeded as planned. The blind medicine man performed the Bijeen with all the proper rituals and songs. Initially, all seemed well. The troubled warrior reported that Dawn Dancer's spirit had departed, and he could finally rest in peace. The family breathed a collective sigh of relief, believing their troubles were over. They had no way of knowing that they were actually just beginning. The deaths began quietly, almost innocuously. First, an elderly member of the Long Salt family died suddenly. While it was unusual that he hadn't been ill beforehand, few questioned the passing of an aged one. Death, after all, comes to everyone eventually. But when a young, completely healthy member of the family dropped dead without warning, leaving behind a pregnant wife and grieving parents, the community could no longer ignore the signs that something was terribly wrong. Then came the pattern, a pattern that would haunt the Long Salts for decades to come. Every few weeks, like a grim clockwork, another family member would fall ill. The progression was always the same. First came the sickness, then the wasting away, and finally death claimed them after a period of terrible suffering. The family began to realize the horrible truth. Someone had set a Chindi, an avenging spirit, upon them. The tension within the family grew with each passing death. Who had they offended? What spiritual transgression had brought this curse upon them? The answer finally emerged when the 2 family members responsible for obtaining the payment for the medicine man broke down and confessed their deception with the antelope meat. The family quickly convened a council of their leaders, knowing they needed to act swiftly to stem the tide of death that threatened to engulf them all. Representatives were chosen to meet with the blind medicine man. When they arrived at his dwelling, the truth they discovered was chilling. The medicine man freely admitted that he had discovered their deception. His blindness had not prevented him from knowing the difference between sheep and antelope meat. In his anger at being disrespected, he had set a Chindi upon the family with explicit instructions to exterminate them all, one by one, until the entire bloodline was erased. The family representatives were horrified. They desperately tried to explain that most of them had been unaware of the deception, that it was the act of just 2 foolish members, not a deliberate slight by the entire family. They offered increasingly generous compensation, 10 sheep, 20 sheep, 30 sheep, anything to lift the curse that was decimating their family. The old medicine man listened carefully to their pleas, weighing their words and the sincerity of their regret. "I am not an evil man," he told them, "but you must see that I was forced to uphold my dignity and my reputation." He agreed to remove the curse but said he needed 10 days to determine the proper price. The family, though dismayed at the delay while deaths continued, knew better than to protest. They understood that challenging him might lead him to abandon any thought of mercy and allow the Chindi to complete its deadly work. But fate had one final cruel twist in store. When the Long Salt representatives arrived at the medicine man's hogan on the 10th day, prompt in their desperation to save their family, they found only a household in mourning. The medicine man had died 3 days earlier, taking with him the knowledge of whether he had recalled the Chindi before his death. His son could offer them no comfort or certainty. "I know that he had thought much about the problem," the son told them, but I do not know if he was able to call back the Chindi before he went to the land of the grandfathers. The answer became grimly clear when they returned home to find several more family members already ill and dying. The curse continued its relentless work, unbound even by the death of the one who had set it in motion. For the Navajo people, this story continues to be told as a cautionary tale about the importance of honesty, respect, and maintaining proper spiritual practices. It serves as a reminder that the spiritual world is not to be trifled with, and that actions carry consequences that can echo through generations. The story of the Long Salt family and the Chindi's revenge stands as a testament to the enduring power of spiritual beliefs and the far-reaching consequences of disrespect in Navajo tradition. It reminds us that in any culture, the smallest actions can sometimes carry the heaviest weights, and that the price of dishonesty may be paid not just by those who commit it, but by generations yet unborn. In the end, this tale stands as a powerful reminder of the complex interconnections between the physical and spiritual worlds in Navajo belief, and the terrible price that can be paid when these connections are disrupted by human failings. Check out my large Southwest catalog of lost history, lost historical figures, and lost legends. Happy trails! Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more great content. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. See you in the next video.